And Ghana just qualified to the World Cup. Yes, we are packing our bags and we are going to USA, Canada, and Mexico. We are looking forward to this. It's going to be our 5th World Cup, and we're looking. It's exciting. Yes, I know. You say, oh, but there's a slight mathematical challenge there. There's a slight mathematical possibility that we may not qualify. It's highly impossible. Highly impossible. Why? Because if you look at the way it stands right now, we have 22 points. The closest is Madagascar, and they have 19. Yes, there is a 3-point gap, and there's one more game to go. But what you need to look at, head-to-head, but also the difference in goals between us and Madagascar. If you don't know yet, let me just update you. The Black Stars played against the Central African Republic today, and we walloped them. We gave them a beating. 5-0 it was an outstanding performance, one of the best games I've seen the Black Stars play. And we are scoring goals for fun. And that is what it really means to bring back the love, right? Qualifying to the World Cup is the thing that tends to unite all of us, and it makes us forget about the woes that the Black Stars have subjected us to. They inflicted on us a lot of pain. We lost our love, and maybe this is an opportunity for them to bring us back to what we really love, the game that unites all of us. It's the thing that really cuts across political lines and gets us to see something that we can all gather around. And today they showed us what they can really demonstrate and showcase to the rest of the world, beating the Central African Republic by 5. And don't tell me that it's, oh, just the Central African Republic that we just managed to beat, because as you see there, you would think that Mali is a stronger footballing nation, and yet it is Madagascar that is giving us a run for our money. So yes, the game has changed. Every country right now is formidable in its own right as far as football is concerned, and so we are looking forward to traveling into Trump land next year. And well, if you don't want us in Trump land, we don't mind. We'll go to Canada or Mexico. But it's a big deal for us. Anytime the Black Stars qualify to the World Cup, it solves a lot of problems. Because we're all now looking forward to 2026. It's going to be a year of fun, a year of excitement, expectations. And maybe we'll be the first African country to qualify to the semifinals and maybe win the World Cup. It's very possible. The kind of players we have, we should. In the Premier League, we have one of the best strikers now in Semenyo. You also have Kudus, who's doing magic in the Premier League. You have Partey in the midfield. The team is good. It's good. And so we're looking forward to this. And so tonight's game has put us on a good pedestal, on the brink of qualification. We have qualified. We've all but qualified to the World Cup next year. And I just as I've been saying now, that's it there. Ghana qualifies if we win that next game or if we draw. So we don't even need to necessarily win our next game here in the capital, and it's going to be a celebration, really, because it's going to be here. They're going to taste that qualifications, 5th qualification to the World Cup. We can draw. In fact, we can even lose. We don't want that. We can even lose the last game and still qualify, because as I can now show you, there's an 8-goal difference that Madagascar will need to claw back. It is impossible that they can beat their opponents by 8 and we lose by 8 goals. It's just not possible. It's not going to happen here in Ghana. It's not possible. So, yeah, just start packing your bags, buying your tickets, getting visa. You start applying now, because if it happens to be in the USA, Trump is doing his thing. Oh, but that has been restored, by the way. I mean, the Foreign Affairs Ministry had negotiated this, and so they've lifted the visa restrictions. You may even get 5 years. So start applying now to the US, to Canada, to Mexico. 8-goal difference. It's impossible to surmount. And so we have one foot there already. We're just waiting for the last game, and then we qualify. And head-to-head, even if you're using head-to-head, we are streets apart there. Streets ahead of Madagascar, beat them 2-0 in the last match. So there's a lot to look forward to. And as far as the issues about football is concerned, we're going to talk everything Black Stars tonight. But because of the special guest I have, we will not limit ourselves to Black Stars and football. We'll talk about, obviously, the World Cup. That's top of the agenda on the back of what has happened tonight in that fantastic game we played. We'll talk about The budget, of course, is always a big deal. We will talk about the management of the Black Stars, but we'll also talk about the sports levy. It is a controversial one, and some cabinet had considered it and possibly approved it. So what really is a sports levy? Another tax coming? Maybe the Black Stars qualification may make it easier for us to accept that, but will you? The minister is here to expand on that for us. Boxing controversies, 2 deaths, boxing-related deaths this year alone. There's an interim management committee that has been set up. The boxing management committees have now been dissolved. Investigations are going. Recommendations have been put forward. So there's a lot there to also talk about. The minister will share thoughts and then plans to build new stadia across the country. The NDC has a bold ambition to have a world-class stadium in every region. And they're starting that, from what I understand, next year. The president had given the directive to the finance minister to factor that into the 2026 budget. We'll talk about athletics, we'll talk about talent development. But the ministry also has a mandate as far as recreation is concerned. And so we'll spend some time talking to this man who's going to be joining me for this conversation tonight about recreation. What is he doing about that too, as he juggles with sports and everything sports, but also responsibility for recreation. That is Kofi Adams, is my guest tonight. Stay with me on the night when we all qualified to the World Cup 2026. He's the right man to talk to, and he's here on PM Express. So the Black Stars have all but qualified to the World Cup next year. It's going to be in 3 countries. It's going to be in the US, it's going to be in Canada and Mexico. We are looking forward to that. Now I wonder, so what? You must get 3 separate visas. You start applying now, start packing, because we are going. We have a final game this weekend, but that is just a celebration. We're going to see our stars on display on Sunday. And yes, if you're just joining us and wondering what has happened today, the Black Stars played the Central African Republic and they walloped them 5-0. We're looking for that particular scoreline. The goals were very important because it may come down to goal difference, but that won't happen because the Black Stars are going to obviously beat their counterparts on Sunday. But we did well today. Black Stars, they were fluid, they were attacking. This was a flair that we know the Ghana Black Stars have been linked to for decades. Growing up, it's about flair. We say we are the African Brazilian team, and we played today like that. The movement was good. A lot of set plays resulting in goals, and our attack line was superb. Even our best striker, Semenyo, didn't even score today. So imagine on Sunday, he would want to have a say in that particular matter. And so we're looking. Oh, he did, I believe he did. And the minister was here with me in the studio pretty shortly. I'm going to introduce him, and he's a man. He's happy. I was telling him this morning when I spoke to him that as the sports minister, you're almost the Black Stars minister. When they qualify to the World Cup, all your problems are solved. We don't care about anything else. We had the World Cup. We had the World Cup. So he's a very lucky man indeed. In 9 months, he has a World Cup qualification under his belt. Many former sports ministers will envy him greatly. He's my guest tonight. My PM Express is always brought to you by Syntax Tanks. It is strong, it is tough, Academic Times newspaper, and Pepsodent Cavity Fighter. Look for the tortoise on the tank. If you find it, it means it's durable. It means it's the Syntax Tanks. It is your tank to rely on, very durable, very long-lasting indeed, and the safest way to store water. A strong, a tough. And the Academic Times journal is launching soon with 3 distinctive graphic publications in a journal to showcase and empower students across all educational levels, making sure the research really gets the attention it deserves. So look out for it when they launch. And then before you sleep, use the Pepsodent Cavity Fighter toothpaste. Every time we eat, food and sugars are trapped between our teeth, leading to decay, gum disease, and in some cases, foul breath. Brushing your teeth every morning and night with Pepsodent Cavity Fighter gives you the protection you need as far as your teeth is concerned. And that's what you need to look out for tonight before you sleep. My guest tonight is Kofi Adams. He's the Minister for Sports and Recreation, MP for Buem. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you
for your time here on PMS. And congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Congratulations. How excited are you?
Well, Evans, if you are excited,
I am.
then you should know how excited I would be. It will be double the portion that you be experiencing now. Because I'm a Ghanaian, I double as the minister responsible for sports and recreation. And so I will be doubly happy. So I'm really happy. When you called me in the morning, your producer did first and wanted me to appear on this platform. I said, oh, why didn't you do it earlier or wait until after the Sunday one, then we do it next week when we would have been so sure. But I was convinced also that today the boys would deliver. The camp was just full of determination and focus. For the first time, nobody reached out to me to ask for issues of per diem or anything. No. It was just about training, just about focusing on the game. So I knew they were going to deliver, and they have truly delivered. So we salute them. And
have you been in touch with the camp, with the management team, with the coach since?
Right from before they got there and whilst they were there, and this evening after they finished, because they have to be returning. So we needed to make all the necessary provision to make sure that at least they return safely. The arrangement is for them to arrive to get back home. So tomorrow they will commence training towards Sunday's game. So any moment soon, we expect them to be airborne.
Yeah. I mean, the truth is, as I said, you're a very lucky sports minister. 9 months, you have a World Cup qualification under your belt. This is what every sports minister dreams of, to have that, because it is the biggest bragging rights for any government, not alone, let alone the sector minister. But you have it in 9 months. You must feel very lucky.
Well, I give thanks to God for what it is that He's done for us as a country. I also know that the boys put in their best. They listened to the advice. They listened to our engagement. I told them clearly that they were the best you could find anywhere, and they should see themselves as such. That once you've been selected by the coach to be part of the team, don't listen to any other commentary that will bring you down. That commentary that you hear out there should rather motivate you to prove those who think you are not qualified that you are qualified. And for those who also think that you are good, you don't disappoint them. So just be focused. Know that for every negative comment you read or hear, there are thousands of other persons just urging you and supporting you. So don't pull back. Don't feel like, no, the nation is not with you. And go out there knowing that you are the best. And that is a team game. Football is a team game. Yes, we want to get goals. Yes, you want to be the goal king. Yes, you want to be announced as the one who got a goal. But if it is possible that instead of attempting, you pass, please do so. Do cover each other. Play as a team. And I think that they did just that in all their appearances, despite the challenging situation we had against Chad, where we lost 2 points and shared points with them. And people were not so happy. Myself, I wasn't happy. And they knew they had a bad game on that day. And they got back, put the house in order, and we came against Mali, which I considered as our strongest opponent, because at that point, the table was such that if Mali could win, it will put them in a better position to also possibly think that they can qualify. So they came very strong, but at least we managed and we got a goal over them, getting the 3 points at stake. And today, we've done what we did to the Chadians when we played them home here by walloping the Central African Republic 5-0 without response. Yeah. So it's good. I'm happy.
Yeah. I mean, and as I was saying, it won't happen, but it may come down to goal difference. And so today, we were looking for a heavy win to put it beyond doubt, because there's now an 8-goal difference that the Madagascar will have to claw back, which is almost impossible.
The difference is huge.
Yeah.
It's not possible for Madagascar to go to Mali and beat them by 8-0.
And then we will lose
or we will lose by 8-0. It's just not possible.
It's just not possible.
That's not possible. So technically speaking,
we are there.
Ghana is through.
We are there.
We are there. And we consider this game as a qualification game. Sunday is just for us to get to the stadium to celebrate the players. They will play for us, but we, the supporters, must come to the stadium to celebrate them on Sunday, the 12th of October. Yeah. All of us must come to the stadium.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember the last time I went to the Accra Sports Stadium, but this Sunday I will go. Because I'm looking forward to seeing Kudus in flesh, Semenyo, because I watch them all the time in the EPL. I'm sure all of you do. I mean, Semenyo in flesh, because he's doing great in the EPL. Kudus scored a fantastic goal and an assist over the weekend. To see him up close, also did 2 goals. Yes, absolutely. I mean, to see them in flesh performing. Then you have Partey in the middle. You have Jiku and the other players who have been performing on our screens.
And the captain who does so well in terms of really sending the balls. His assist is excellent. Yeah. And if there's a corner kick and he's there to take the kick, then you know that he knows where to drop the ball. And
I mean,
once
his delivery led to the first goal.
The first goal. His delivery led to, I think, about the third goal also, and he himself got a goal.
Yeah. I mean, so I'm looking forward to Sunday, just going there to watch. And talking about records and you being lucky, apart from football, the relay.
Yeah,
the relay, also athletics. You said the national record.
The 4x100.
Formula.
We set a new national record, and now we are the 4th world fastest.
Yeah,
that's also
that's a record. And then you also have Rose Yeboah, who reached the World Championships high jump final. First time, from what I understand, any Ghanaian individual athlete made the final of the World Athletics Championship in 20 years. All that under your belt in 9 months. So.
Well, it's God's grace, and of course the leader of the country. People say His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is a blessed person. He's a lucky president.
In his second coming.
Yeah.
The second coming of John. Yeah.
And just know that, of course, at the university level, UDS returned home with the beating Granada University from Spain. Is no small university. And then Paulista from Brazil.
Considering the resources that they have compared to UDS, that really puts that win in context. And it was a tournament from universities across the world, right? And even if you've been to UDS, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah? For them to beat and win when teams are coming from Spain, of all places, very well endowed, very well resourced, and still win.
So Ivan,
that was the determination.
That's exactly the point that I wanted to raise, the determination. And the fact that when you pick talent in a way you should, you don't discriminate, you step out there and pick the right people, you put them together, and they are determined and focused. It doesn't matter what is at your disposal, you would get there.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what they did.
Yeah, and the reason why football in particular, and the other sports too, but football most importantly, it brings us together. I mean, it's the only thing the NDC MPP they kind of unite around. It doesn't divide us at all. So each time we qualify for the World Cup, there's this umbrella, and I'm using that, no pun intended, that descends on this country in terms of the unity and this feel-good factor that we get going into the World Cup. And it has been quantified before, because the excitement people feel leads to improved, productivity. People look forward, they work happier. And we're looking forward to next year. And also because of the quality of the team we have, there's a lot riding here. We're almost recreating the golden generation coming back. Because at least in our team, we have at least 4 world-class players. At least 4. You have Semenyo, you have Kudus, you have Partey, in the middle. You also have the Ayu there, who is also very good today. He scored a fantastic goal. He took it first time when the ball was coming. That's a very good, difficult technique to execute. He did that. And the other players also chipping in. The Inaki. Brother is also there, who's doing it. I didn't even see him in today's game.
No, I think he wasn't invited to the camp when I checked.
Okay, from an understanding, I believe he's injured. Okay, so that's another player to come back. Just very good, playing very well in the.
No, we really have, and we have many more that have actually not been invited.
Yeah.
That have reached out. And I believe that the friendlies that have been arranged for the team would have opportunity of featuring a few more of such persons to see what can be done, to make sure that the team in all departments is ready to go for a World Cup. So we want to do that.
Yeah,
and I think this time round also we'll not just go to the World Cup to
just add to the numbers and
just add to
participate.
the numbers. We want to go there and let people feel our presence, just the same way they did in South Africa in 2010. We want that the world should feel our presence.
So it leads to the question. That comes down fundamentally to you, because we know the resources has to come from you. The GFA obviously
the resources has to come from us.
Well, okay, no problem. So what is the plan? Tonight, if you are not sure, now you know you are going. We need to get the team to gel. As you said, more players are going to come. That means investing in a bit more training, a bit more friendlies. You utilizing the World Cup breaks, the FIFA breaks. What's the plan? Now that we know, let's now begin to think about it. Well, what's the plan going forward?
Well, the plan is that generally you've had very good players. On many occasions, you find them play as a team. Exactly what they did today. On some occasions, it's not gone well. So what it means is to enhance your training, to make sure that you do other enhancements, including the evaluation of games. What it means now is that you already know a number of teams that have qualified also. So you must begin to study their playing style and their stars who are involved, because you don't know the group that you will be in until 5th December when the draw will take place. So then you know which group you are in and who you are meeting at the group stage. Then you can drill down onto those particular teams that you know you will be facing at the group stage. Look at their games, watch the videos, analyze it, and you'll be able to tell the coach, analyze each player of the opposing teams that you will be meeting and draw a strategy and let them know that, okay, this is the plan that will work for this particular team or for this particular player. You need to put this person on him or that person on him, or you need to play this style so you block them from having access, and you can use either the flanks or the midfield to fly through, depending on how they also play. So you need to do all this. You need to invest in video analysts, whether you like it or not. You see, those times, many of us used to ask, Abe, what is all this fetish called video analyst? What is his role? Why are they paid this or paid that? You need the minimum 2. And when you are going for a World Cup, you need more than that. Because they do a lot. They will pick, including even your own players, they have to pick their videos at the club level, pick their videos at the national team level, the qualifiers that we played, look at the errors that they committed, and sometimes even give it back to them for them also to watch. Sometimes you pick a particular player and analyze the video, give it to another player that you want to learn something out of that player, give it to the player also to go and watch. It helps them. So you need to invest in the video analyst. They are not people to be toyed with, or when I see people analyze, what is a video analyst? It's not just taking videos. It's not just taking pictures, but they analyze, they understand the game, they analyze the players. So you need to invest in that. You need to invest, of course, in friendlies. Some of it you have to pay. Some you may be lucky. Another nation is interested in calling on you for such friendly, so they may even offer you accommodation and offer you a few things so you will not spend so much. But we need to look for the money to make sure that we get the team very well prepared. And that is the next thing that we are going to do. And that's where we will be calling on the corporate Ghana, both public and private, to come on board. Because we need them. Government alone can't do it.
Yeah, and that point is so important. And we'll sort of now walk through what the government's own plan is for the Stars, how much are willing to invest into this. The GFA started bring back the love for some time back because we sort of lost touch with the Black Stars. We lost our love for them. And when that happened, the GFA obviously started working towards a major qualification, playing well. So Ghanaians will begin to see Black Stars as a team that, again, they're worthy of our love. We've seen them qualify tonight. I mean, with more than one foot in the World Cup final. That is clearly something that we are excited about. And what you see on your screen there is the highlights from the game today. And you see the Stars there playing. And this is a goal I was talking about that Jordan Ayew scored. Just look at that long pass that was sent to him, taking it one touch and scoring. That is a world-class goal indeed. And you will see that they knew that everything was relying on this game and they wanted to throw everything at it, and they did. And just look at that touch there. One touch to the corner, score, and we wrapped up and we are on the way back home. So, Kofi, how much is the pot for next year? Thankfully, the budget is going to be read, right? And this is coming at the right time because you have a month before Dr. Tuforcing finalizes. So I'm pretty sure there's a conversation that you begin to have on the back of, and probably if you have not called him already, probably should. Have you seen what has happened? I am coming to you to say you have to put in the budget for next year, your entire sport budget. How much are you thinking about?
If I tell you what I'm thinking about at the moment, I will deceive you. We know we have to commit to doing a number of things, but we are also minded that we find ourselves in a period where we need funds to invest in many other areas. So we're careful how far we will go, where we put money in. If you observe, since I became the Minister for Sports and Recreation, in all our engagements, whether it was the Black Queens that were playing in Morocco or the Black Stars that plays anywhere, beyond the situation where we chartered an aircraft to send the players and there was space in the aircraft and therefore you can add some persons, we have not spent on sending supporters anywhere.
Okay.
We haven't. We have focused just on the essentials. And that is why we are able to cut the budget but still get things happening.
Are you saying that you're not going to sponsor supporters to the World Cup next year?
Well, I don't think that government may directly do it, but we would, through many means, raise funds to be able to send supporters, because this is a learning opportunity also. And it is not only those who on their own can afford need be given opportunity to learn. You need to find a way of picking somebody, maybe from some community far away, that maybe, let me use this as an example, not to say that farming is not lucrative. Maybe a farmer, a poor farmer somewhere, who has been farming cocoa that we harvest, process, and is sold and has helped us to do so many things. He himself may not afford to purchase a ticket, but through a system, we can identify one or two of such persons and also sponsor them. And when they come back, they can impact their society with what it is that they have learned. The fact that they've been given that opportunity. So surely there will be some levels of what? Sponsorship. No doubt about that. But that is not going to be the focus of government. We would have to draw in the corporate, both private and public, of course, to find a way of putting in to help Ghanaians and to help supporters who would want to go to have a feel of what it is that the World Cup brings.
Yeah, I mean, talking about the qualification, on City, you made a point about you've invested heavily in everything that they need to get them to qualify. They've qualified. How much exactly has it cost us?
I don't have the full figures, but averagely for an away game, it costs you almost about $750,000 to $800,000. And these you would find the tickets for the players to move from their base to sometimes Accra before flying to where the competition will take place. Then they will fly back and then fly to their base. So flight tickets takes a chunk of it. Sometimes you have to charter aircraft to make sure that they move at the time that they must move. And they move from where it's easier for them to be able to reach out. Because mostly when you have this window for the World Cup, you play 2 games. Yeah. Either home and away or away and home. So you do not have enough time for them to use all kinds of means of flying where they go and spend so many hours at the airport or changing flights and taking so long. You don't have that luxury of time. Yeah. It's not a tournament that they are going and you think that, oh, you can take them through these means and you know that you calculate this number of days and they should arrive on a particular date and have some relaxation before the tournament commences. This one, you are given few days. They play today and they are playing on Sunday. So you do not have any time. Today is Wednesday. So you have only Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. 3 days. So are you going to get them to spend another 1.5 days just flying around? No, you have to move them quickly. So they will come and rest, recoup, and train. Have at least 2 sessions of training before the game. And so we've spent quite a lot in terms of transporting them. Of course, there's an arrangement I came to inherit that I didn't want to do anything about. I will do something about it into the future. The issues of winning bonuses and the per diems and how it is calculated. Of course, we will sit down and open the books to both the playing body and the technical team for us to see, do we think that we should continue this path or we should do something about what it is that come to us aside all the other things we do for you to take part in the game. We will have to have that conversation. And I think that we can still do something in those areas. But I didn't want to touch that in the course of this qualification. And I believe that when we sit with the players, they will understand. Okay, so you're looking to also touch their per diems, winning bonuses, which have always been controversial in the past? Well, they've maybe have learned from how the issues were handled in the past and to make sure that we have a better way of dealing with it. What's the better truth? Well, it's about engagement. You don't wait, and that is why I didn't do anything about it. I was interested in reaching out and doing things that didn't affect the players. I didn't reduce their per diems. I didn't reduce their bonuses. I cut certain category of persons off because I thought that, no, we can't do that now. Maybe we can look at you later. Yeah. Those ones, but the players I didn't touch. But now that we've reached where we've reached, I believe that you engage with the players just like their colleagues, their counterparts from other countries who go for the World Cup. If you cite that as examples and you sit, and we can convince ourselves that let's do it this way. In other words, and the examples you're citing, a lot of them play in Europe. Yeah. In England,
when they're called to the national team, it's not about money. In fact, it's not only on the table. You're playing for your country. And then you get rewards that come in, not necessarily in terms of money, but your profile as a player gets significantly improved. That then earns you a bigger, say, club, and then the benefits. That's what you're going to pitch to them. The typical Ghanaian Black Stars player has not bought that idea yet.
It's not that they don't see it that way. I believe they do. I also know that sometimes also the money, they are not taking the money for the love of the money. Sometimes it's the feeling that, oh, my country has paid me something. You know, Evans, growing up, when let me use my own story. I traveled with my mom and we visited our uncle in Cape Coast. Then he gave me money. I insisted I want to buy a ticket, so I will sit and I want to use that money to buy a ticket. They said everything they will say on it, I disagree with them. I have to use that money to buy the ticket. Finally, I did. But I realized later I sat on my mother's lap all through the journey, meaning that the ticket I bought, I was happy that I bought the ticket. I didn't sit. She sat on it and she kept her money. Sometimes there's that feeling that, okay, Ghana has paid me. It may not be the figure, but the way we go about the conversation also makes them feel like, well, this is what we have agreed on, so we are taking it. We want to have a different approach. And I believe that we have time to be able to have that conversation.
Okay, and let's talk about the coach. You recently, September 10th, was asked about him, and you said, quote, if I tell you I'm impressed, then it means I don't understand my job.
Yep.
And you said categorically, quote, I am not.
Yep.
Has he redeemed his image now in your eyes? Is he now the man for the long
what
term?
What I said then is the truth and remains the truth. Otto, well, in this his coming, I can also describe that he has been lucky. In terms of performance, at least since I became the minister, the list was a draw. We won against Chad here home. We won against Madagascar away. We went to Chad and we drew. We came home against Mali and we won. We've gone to Central African Republic, that was played in Morocco, and we have defeated them again. And I know against Comoros also, he will want to pay them back. Because they are the only ones that have defeated us in the course of these qualifiers when we went away. So we want to beat them back. So for the team, the technical team, and the playing body, this opportunity to pay them back. And they will be much more relaxed because they know that so they will not be playing under any tensed situation. So they will play a better game. They would have a much better enhanced game and they will beat the Comoros on Sunday. So, well, he's been lucky. But there's still concerns.
What are the concerns?
Well, concerns that he himself, most times when we meet, there are some he will admit, maybe I should have done a substitution, or I should have urged them on, or maybe I should have freed this person to play this role. And so there are concerns. But I must say he's been lucky. But it doesn't mean that he shouldn't improve.
You know, when you say he's lucky, you're almost saying the qualification is not necessarily because Otto Addo is competent. It's other factors.
I can't say that.
Because luck is not necessarily as a result of
the
deliberate input.
Evans, I can't say that he's totally incompetent. I can't use the word incompetence on him because first and foremost, I'm not a coach. I'm not a coach. I'm only a minister who loves the game and who analyzes it. If I have been a coach before, other coaches can describe me whether he's competent or not. But I'm not a coach, so I will not say so. But I am not satisfied That's all that I'm seeking to say. I can't use the word incompetence on him. No.
But he's qualified you to the World Cup.
Well,
that
he's
is
qualified.
that is the ultimate measure.
That's what I'm saying. Yes, he's qualified. But I know I have sat on some hooks and nails and things that were pointing me to get up. In the past, I've had to get up to use the washroom a number of times by force. So I must express that. But again, I repeat, I cannot describe him as incompetent. I don't think that I'm qualified. I'm pleased. I'm rightly pleased to describe him as incompetent.
But you're not. But you're not satisfied yet.
Oh,
just
of
yet.
course,
He's yet to convince you.
There are decisions. There are decisions that makes me not be satisfied, especially when you are taking your senior national team and you are going to that level. You need to.
So that begs the question. He qualifies you to the World Cup, but is he the man for the World Cup?
Well, I can't answer that question now. If I answer the question now, then I will be kind of creating a situation. Maybe you have some people who say so they want another person. You have others who say so they want him. Then if I answer this question now, I would have been creating a problem. We still have games ahead of us. There's a game. We haven't finished.
But what is instructive is, if you can answer that question, it means to me that as far as who the permanent coach for the World Cup is, as far as the minister is concerned,
the minister doesn't take the.
You don't.
The minister doesn't take.
But you are
the minister.
One of the important voices in the decision-making process.
The minister will receive briefings. The minister will analyze the briefings. The minister will not take that decision alone. There's a federation that we have handed over our national team to manage. That's the Ghana Football Association. They have a role to play. And so I cannot sit here when we haven't had that conversation to be talking about whether we are retaining or dismissing the coach. I can't go into that realm.
But you support the point that there's still a decision to be made about who our coach is for the World Cup.
Well, there is decisions to be made every day, including even who plays and who doesn't play.
That we know about, but the coach.
And I'm saying that decisions we make every day.
But in the coaching department,
we make every day.
Does that include the coaching department?
Look, whether the coaching, the nutrition, the physiotherapy, the medical level, the playing body itself, there are still decisions to be made. And these decisions are made every day. And the decision will not be made by the minister alone or by the minister.
Okay. So if I ask you categorically, does he have your support for the World Cup? What would your answer be?
I have supported everybody who has a role to play. As far as the national team
the coach concerned. Have your support for the World Cup?
I have never gone against anybody I have assigned responsibility. These players, I remember when the country turned against them, that when the president said ministers and others should not engage in first-class flights and then the rest. He said then it should affect the players also, no business. I came out and defended it, that it's just not possible. Look at Saturday. Kudus, Semenyo and Co played. Some of them will get hit and they will be feeling serious pain. They are to fly the next morning for another training and for another game. And you ask that, let's squeeze them in the economy class. When you want them in the next few hours to be functioning with their feet again, you need to give them some minimal level of comfort, so that at least when they arrive, they are a bit okay to get to training. I defended it. Look, Otto Addo, the call from many Ghanaians was that he should go, minister, go and make sure that you get rid of this. But I came and said, together with His Excellency, the President, after all the engagement, he said, well, you go and do what it is that you think is the best. After, so we did what we thought was the best. We have guided the processes and we have qualified. So he has always had my support. But in supporting him, I will continue to raise what my fears are and what I think are challenging situations. It doesn't mean that because I have supported him, if I have concerns, I shouldn't talk about it. No, that's not me. I will support you, but when I have concerns, I will raise it.
Let's talk about the biggest concern of yours. Going into a World Cup costs money.
Yeah.
And before I put that, let me put that in context. In 2010, when we went to the World Cup, it cost us 19 million. In 2014, it cost us 9.6 million. In 2022, it cost us 14 million. So you need money to do this. And next year may cost you even more because of where we are, etc. You are proposing that for that purpose and others, because sports is a pretty broad, multifaceted, complex subject, we should have a sports levy.
Well, what we have proposed and Cabinet has approved is a sports fund.
A sports fund.
A sports fund.
But that must be funded somehow.
Yes.
You must find the money for the fund.
Money, that's exactly so.
And so how you fund the money for that fund?
The draft bill proposed a number of sources, and not to deviate, let me just mention a few of them. For example, we say A, allocations that Parliament will approve. Mm-hmm. No, Parliament is what approves budgets. So if in the budget, some amount is set aside to be put in the fund, that must go into the fund. Then again, we are talking about proceeds from special sports lotteries. The Sports Act allows us to run sports lottery. So we intend to have a lottery dedicated for sports, and that will go into the sports fund. Then grants, gifts, donation, sponsorship, and any other voluntary contribution. Then percentage of revenue or tax from sports betting companies. The sports betting companies generate revenue. A percentage of it could be put into the fund. Or the tax they pay to the state, a percentage of it. So what they are already paying, a percentage of it could be set aside into the fund. Then a percentage of gate proceeds from sport activities. Okay. You want to come Sunday to watch the game. What do you pay to enter? A percentage of that should go into the fund. Then percentage of proceeds from transfer of athletes in Ghana and of Ghanaian athletes abroad.
That's interesting. What percentage? Yeah. Does the Act specify?
No, the Act itself will not state. It is the regulations that will bring about
subsequent to the passage
passage of this that you get. So a percentage of that. So if you transfer a player and the player earns maybe $1 million, a percentage of that will have to go into.
That's an interesting. Let's just break it down for me. I love football, so I need to understand this. Is it a percentage of the transfer fee?
Whatever comes to the athlete when you are transferred, and before it is shared among all beneficiaries, a percentage of it would have to go into the fund. Because that's the fund that we will use to further develop other athletes.
So if Asante Kotoko sells a player to Manchester United, that transfer fee Asante Kotoko gets,
a percentage of it, we will decide what percentage, whether 2%, 5%, 10% will go into the fund. Then percentage of proceeds from sponsorship of sporting activities. Then percentage of support from international federations for local federations.
So the money that FIFA will give to the GFA.
FIFA will give to GFA, a percentage should go into the fund. Monies that GOC, IOC will give to GOC, monies that various federations get from the IFs, a percentage of it should go into the fund. Then we are also looking at a percentage of financial gains of national athletes and Ghanaian athletes.
In other words, like the guys who won in the relay, they participated in the relay, the World Championships,
and then won something, a percentage should come. Like we are paying the national team players bonuses and then the rest. A percentage of what we pay you, whatever money you earn, a percentage should go into...
In that case, for the bonuses, you are paying them.
We are paying them.
So are you deducting it from what you paid them as to what they're entitled to?
Let's agree with when this is passed, then whatever is established we'll work on it. Then, of course, we have to do an arrangement so that GRA and Ministry of Finance will pay a percentage into the sports fund. These are the sources of the fund. Nowhere have we talked about introducing any new levy. But I think it was one of your platforms that interviewed Evans Yeboah, who went haywire and talked about all those things, and they quoted him and used my image. And that's where that story went viral.
So there's a quote when you spoke to City that you say, quote, the government is introducing a sports fund.
Yes.
That will make us have a well-structured funding for sports. We do not have that currently. And because of it, our support for sporting activities has been very limited. So the government has decided to establish a sports fund. You can't establish a fund without a levy. Every fund must have a form of levy.
So those are the levies that I have listed here. So it is not introducing
a tax.
We are not introducing a tax, but things that already exist, we're putting some levies on them and taking a percentage of it. That's all that we are going to.
So for clarity, the finance minister is not going to announce a new tax for the sports.
Well, I don't know what the finance minister is going to do as far as taxation issues are concerned. Surely he will take to Parliament. If Parliament approves, fine. But the bill that we have sent to Cabinet for Cabinet to approve, that is to be sent to Parliament, do not have any such provision of a new tax. If Parliament in their wisdom decides that they want to impose a tax to generate this fund, that will be Parliament's decision, not what we are proposing now.
Did you have an idea, rough idea, when this was being drafted, how much you were anticipating to raise it annually?
Well, I know initially it will not be much, but as it drives on and we begin to capture a lot of data, it will go into millions, of course.
You scrapped the betting task.
Well,
would you say? Would you? Yes. Would you say? Yes. That's how you described it.
Yeah.
But would you say now with this idea that you're implementing that would have been a good avenue to fund that activity?
See, when something is good and is done badly, it becomes difficult to immediately change it and say that, oh, because you are having these good intentions, let's just drift it that way. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work, and it will not be appreciated.
Okay.
It will not be.
So you still believe the scrapping was good?
Well, the scrapping was good.
It could have been a very good source.
It would have been if they were using it for sports. If when they did that, it was being used for sports and not collecting it and using it for many other things that were unnecessary, we would not have had the kind of problem that we had.
The sports fund, what will you use it for?
Well, the sports fund will support sports infrastructure. It will support growth of especially key sport areas. Football is one of them. Athletics. I love athletics so much sitting here, but we have not funded it enough. How many tracks do we have? Tartan tracks. How many of them do we have around? Many schools are still running on undulating pitches, where you are running and you have to look where to step because there are so many holes in the tracks that you are running. There's no way you can produce Olympic-grade athletes if you have such pitches. So we need to develop infrastructure. His Excellency is determined to do so. We need to support it. These funds will go into that area. Boxing, amateur boxing, and even professional boxing sometimes needs support. We need to support them. Volleyball, of course, hockey, and other things all need support. So infrastructure, athlete development, and many others. But it's not going to be free money that you just come and take without accounting for any improvement. Then next year you come again. No. If you are supported, you have to prove that you have done something meaningful with the previous support before you qualify for another. So there's going to be fund managers that will be properly managed, not controlled by the political appointee, the minister. No. There will be fund managers that will manage that fund, that people will have to apply and justify, go through a process. So it will be fair and transparent. Help develop athletes, because we must do so. No country, look, the Anthony Joshua's and the rest that came here, it was out of the British Sports Fund that they created, that has supported athletes, that have created big-time boxers and world boxing champions for them. We can also do that again. We can produce athletes that will go to international level, compete and win. The only reason many of them have not reached there has been funding challenge. So they are not able to get involved in competitions. They are not able to train more. Nutrition is poor. But if we have this kind of funding and we are going to support them right from the basic levels, all the way up, they will go very far.
And would part of this also be spent on infrastructure, sports infrastructure?
Sure.
You have a bold ambition. It is in your manifesto, and I see the president is already asking the finance minister to budget for fresh stadia next year. Do you have the funds for that? Because this fund is about to take off. He hasn't taken off yet.
Well, so the president, the infrastructure the president is talking about, he says should come from the big push. And the big push have some dedicated sources. The amount is known. And so the president is asking the finance minister to make space in his budget for commencement of those stadia facility and other multi-purpose courts also across the country. We're going to do quite a number of that. And we are going to get the corporate world also to come on board to construct and have naming rights. Look, I went to London recently for a meeting. Where we held a meeting, Allianz have taken over the naming right of that facility. So it's Allianz Stadium. It used to be Leckham Stadium. Today is Allianz Stadium, where rugby is played. We can do same. Our stadia, like we've constructed a facility at Bortema. We still refer to it as Bortema Sports Complex. Maybe multimedia can decide that we want to
Sports
be
Stadium.
Multimedia, yeah, we name it Multimedia Sports Stadium.
JoyNews Sports
or
Stadium.
JoyNews Sports Stadium.
And then
they
we
will
pay
be
for
investing.
it, upkeep, and make sure that we
You maintain it, you do so many things, so that becomes your so every time it's maintained so well. So it will attract a lot of events. There are many telecommunication companies that can assume naming rights. You see, this naming rights in me, I don't want us to be like in Ghana here, we panic and we must recognize this person. So let's name this thing after him. After naming after him, what comes? I believe that if you want to name a sports facility...
No, what you don't want us to be sentimental.
I don't want us to be sentimental. So let's give names that will make sure that something will come out of it. Then when you go into, you can possibly name something subset for that particular person. So you walk into the stadium, or you go into a stadium, the stadium is neat, everything is nice, then you can name various sections after other persons. But the general name of the stadium, you give it to a company that can invest heavily in it to maintain it. But you don't name a stadium after somebody, no investment, you are not able to keep it, and before you realize FIFA is banning you from even playing your games there. Then why are you naming the person? Are you surprised that Professor Azuma Nelson have asked that he wants his name even to be taken off the Kaneshi Sports Complex?
Because it's run down.
It's been run down. Now that place is bush.
We'll talk about sports infrastructure very soon. Maintaining it is a thing. We invest so much in it, but we leave it to rot. Talking about the stadia that you have committed in your manifesto, and the president is also asking the finance minister to invest in. What are the timelines? Do you have timelines?
Well, it will reflect in the contract, but it takes a minimum of 2.5 years to be able to construct a stadium, even if you are doing a 10,000-seater capacity. At least the TNA stadium in Takwa, which was done by Goldfelds, they started somewhere in 2020 2021, and they finish around 2024. That is even Goldfields with all the money ready. So it took them more than 3 years to complete it for use. So it takes quite some time to complete such huge infrastructure.
Do you know how much it's going to cost you to build all the stadia you're looking for? Because you want one world-class stadium in each region that doesn't already have one.
Well, what we will do will not necessarily be, we want FIFA standard.
Yes.
But it may not be like big stadia that has like 35,000, 40,000. You may not need all those things because in terms of utilization, it's not spread everywhere. Ghana truly already have big stadia for our international competitions. So what we need is also to have other facilities mixed for even if it is football, where the Division 1, the Division 2, and Division 3s can play.
Do you have a budget for that? Do you know how much it's going to cost you? Have you costed it yet?
We have received concepts and estimates from persons who have expressed interest.
How much are they quoting?
There are some who quoted that to have a standardized FIFA standard stadium per seat will cost you 7,000 per seat. So they multiply that by the number of
$7,000, you mean?
Yeah.
Per seat.
Per seat.
If you're looking like a 10,000 seater.
Yeah, they multiply that. So that is the proposition some have brought. So they will then put all the other things. So that is their proposition. Others will tell you that, okay, if we get about 25 million, we can construct a standardized stadium with what? Tartan tracks in it and a multi-purpose court and another training court within. Others will tell you, well, with $20 million we can do. So depending, you will have to check and ask yourself, what do you want in the stadium?
Have you made a decision yet?
No, we haven't made a decision yet.
Okay, I'm going to take a break. When I return, we'll talk about boxing. I love boxing. And we have 2 deaths already this year. The minister has taken some action. He will give us an update on that. And then we'll also talk a bit more about infrastructure, because we invest quite a bit in our infrastructure. We build it fresh, and you give it a year. You return to the place, and it appears run down. That's the situation with the multipurpose youth resource centers. I'll ask him what his thoughts are on how to deal with that problem. And for those that we invested in that has been left to rot, what is the plan to reclaim? And is there any culpability there? Because you look at the Africa Games that we did in Ghana, there are questions about how we spend the money. Some investigations were asked, were started into it. He'll give me an update on that too when I return. Stay with me. And thanks for staying with us. My guest is Kofi Adams. He is a Sports and Recreation Minister, MP for Buem. He's a lucky man indeed. He's qualified Ghana. Well, he takes credit for it. The president does too. Anytime it happens, trust me, if we didn't qualify, he will be hot. So he should take credit for it, and the president also. In 9 months, he's a pretty lucky minister indeed, and we've just gone through the whole host of things that has happened under his watch as far as the sports sector is concerned. Let's talk about boxing. That is one of the areas that we talk about luck and all the good things that has happened. Is it one area that you haven't had too much luck? 2 deaths, one in May, one recently. You've created a committee, an interim committee, and you have suspended the current structure that oversaw boxing in Ghana. Do you have an update on the mandate you've given them, and when are you expecting them to come back with feedback?
Sure, Evans, it's really an unpleasant situation to have to take some decisions for a sport we all love. We would wish that it continued, but sometimes you need to stop a process and do it well, so that when it takes off so greatly. The way things were going, it will be quite difficult and challenging to get to the celebrated days of boxing, where you and I, those times, either we travel long distances because there was not enough televisions in homes, and you sometimes have to go and peep through, and it was also at dawn, because mostly where they were boxing was in the Americas.
Yes.
And because of time difference...
Stayed up to watch Azuma Nelson.
Exactly.
And Ikwoti.
Exactly.
Around 2 a.m. and 3 a.m.
Exactly. So we needed to do something. The deaths were unfortunate, and the bereaved families, we condole with them. But we have to take decisions. Some will not be happy because, yes, it's true, that's where they earn their living. They think that we box to survive, and so it should just continue. So
this suspension is indefinite.
Well, it's not indefinite. With the committee that has been established, the IMC that has been established, has a 3-month mandate with the possibility of a 30-day maximum renewal. However, I've asked them that within 1 month, they should show proof of some work to allow some activities boxing related to commence locally.
What do you want to see them do in that 1 month?
You see,
what are they fixing?
Let me just give you an example. A promoter came to me that he was going to promote a bout. I asked him, have you done everything? He said, oh, we've done everything. Oh, have you done medicals? Yes, we've done medicals. Now, when it got to the critical, we say, produce the medical. Oh, we can't produce it. It's not available. It is this, it's that. We need to put fixed systems in place such that if you are a promoter and you say you are promoting this bout and these boxers have gone through medicals, even if your copy is missing, it should be possible for us to be able to get a copy because the system should be properly structured. We want to have all these things in place. We want to have proper data of boxers. We want to make sure even that, look, what happened in other worlds, like especially for doping and anti-doping tests, from time to time, an athlete can be invited, even not only when you are going to compete, and to be subjected to a test. The other things we want to do, because boxing is such a compact sport and you need to be in a certain mind and shape and condition, we want to see how we can collaborate with some medical centers to have our boxers go through proper medical analysis so that when you are given a clear, we know that from time to time we'll be doing the other basic regular checks. So there are a number of things we truly want to do.
Yeah, and
we also want to make sure that coaches are given further training and referees are also trained. There are times when a bout must be stopped.
And the referee is not stopping it.
The referee is not stopping. Sometimes they allow these boxers to be overbeaten. The referees must also go through some serious training and orientation.
But I wonder when I look at the timelines. The first death happened earlier in the year, I believe in April. And then
it happens in March.
In March.
It was March 29th.
You set up a committee?
Yep.
And I believe on May 17th, they brought you their first report.
So they brought the report on
and then wonder, between that report and then September when this latest death happened, what happened in the 3 months?
When
did you implement
Ambassador Amaka Amatefio Committee submitted their report, I immediately invited the agency responsible because the ministry doesn't implement citing. There's an agency that superintends over all federations. So we invited the agency and tasked them that these are steps that must be taken. Unfortunately, they also, when they went during the implementation, thought otherwise, that some further consultations, they came back to me that they were having challenges getting the IMC in place. People, and I told them, you don't need a huge number for the IMC. Just a small number. They can then co-opt others to help. So in the course of such conversations going on, the former GBA president also resigned. The tenure of the then GBA executive was expiring. So the NSA thought that let's meet together, let's have a certain conference and give some extension whilst we still put the IMC in place. So 2 weeks ago, the NSA came to me that now the IMC is in place. And so we can inaugurate them to start their work.
So that's what delayed the implementation of the first report?
That's what delayed the implementation. But truth be told,
if they had implemented, would it have stopped the death of the second boxer?
They have started something. But what I could not tell was whether they were also doing post-bout checks that the person should be subjected to. Looks like that wasn't happening. Some of the boxers that came to me and promoters and various persons, they have various titles. When they came to me, They said certain things that really worried me so much. As for a boxer, you sign up for death. And that they are only interested about you before boxing. And after boxing, you are on your own. You know, it should not be that. You should not be on your own in a combat sport like this. Somebody must be interested in making sure that a boxer after boxing is subjected to certain checks, especially those that are knocked down. When you didn't take the fight all the way to an end, then you need to go through some mandatory
post-fight checks.
Post-fight checks. We don't just have to leave you. So,
is anybody going to be held responsible?
Well, there are investigations going on. For this recent one, who is a Ghanaian, we're waiting for the autopsy report to find out clearly what caused the death, and post that we can see where, if anybody along the line may have contributed intentionally, knowingly, or criminally to the cause of his death. I think people would have to answer for it. For what happened in March, Nigerian boxer, we realized that first and foremost, the boxer had no business leaving Nigeria, let alone being accepted in Ghana here to fight. He had really no business. So the Nigerian Boxing Board of Control failed the boxer, and GBA in Ghana here also did worse.
So that's why we saw the action you took when it comes to GBA.
That's why we...
Very quickly, before we wrap up, I need quick updates on the Africa Games. I know when you guys took over power, you were looking into some investigations, the money that was spent. The former sports minister was invited. What's the update on the investigations?
Well, it's still ongoing. There are still a lot of things that have not been answered fully as far as the African Games is concerned. But you can say because there are questions to be answered, processes should not be put in place to further enhance.
It was part of oral, correct? It was part of oral investigations. Are we going to see, is this continuing?
No, it's continuing. Like you said, people involved have been invited, they are answering questions, they attend to various panels, and they provide the information that they can provide.
Have you learned anything more than what you suspected before you came to power?
Oh, there's so much. There's so much. There's so much.
What have you learned?
I think because investigations is ongoing, let's leave that subject for the...
Based on what you know, you believe people will be prosecuted? Is it enough to get people prosecuted?
Unfortunately, I'm not a lawyer, so I will not be able to tell. But with what I'm hearing, the infractions that occurred, people should not walk free. People should not walk free. Look, this country's related resources should not be wasted that way.
So you believe the amount that was spent, a lot of it was wasted?
A lot of it was wasted. A lot of the money that was spent in... Look, people still come asking for all manner of payments, despite that huge expenditure. Either hotels that have not been paid for, people who provided food or provided canopy, provided various services and the rest that have not been paid.
Are you paying?
Well, we've decided that everything must be checked before you make any payment. Thank God the Finance Ministry decided to refer many of these things to the Auditor General to audit and validate. And so we've gone through some processes, and a lot of them, somebody will call and say, no, I'm not aware of this debt, or they don't owe me this much. This is how, so a lot of it is reducing, and so it's good that validation is being done, and that they didn't just go ahead to make payments. If you come to infrastructure development in the sports sector, you would go to places that payments have been made, but when you go to the ground, you really cannot find what you have been told that they are supposed to have done.
So you mean you have instances of work not done all the way?
Not work done for what is reported to have been done.
Which infrastructure in particular?
You go to Baba Yara Stadium, you find such situations of some works that on paper
we've paid for.
What do you see that we've paid for? what you see work declared as having been done, when you go to the ground, you can't find it. Even our own Accra Sports Stadium, the Onijan Sports Stadium, Accra here too, there are things that we told have been done that you go to the ground, it's not there. Kudosia Oko hockey pitch, you go there, there are things that are on paper that have been done, you go to the ground, it's not there. For AC Pond Stadium, they have explained and me, I don't understand. A country sat down, contractors with experts. The project is put in phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. They've made payment for phase 1. Then they've gone for, they've stopped somewhere that we must finish phase 2 before we will come and do phase 1. So how did you package phase 1? How?
And also very quickly, the Black Wings, I mean, there have been concerns. How true is the concerns that their bonuses have not been paid since the Women's World Cup?
Their last bonus has not been paid. Not all their bonuses. No.
The last bonus of the
last has not.
When will it be paid?
Well, it's in the process of being worked on. Almost all the teams that still have, not they alone, even the U20 boys have also not had their package paid.
And the Black Princesses, they also all paid.
Princesses, yeah, but they just finished their 2 days recently. They played in Tunisia and then played home too. So they just finished recently. Even for where they were accommodated and they are feeding, I haven't even paid for all those things yet. The WAFU U17, they also just returned. They have qualified for the African Cup U17, and I believe the team is very good. They will qualify for the World also after the African competition. Yes, we owe a couple of them, but it's not as...
but if they're listening to you tonight, your assurances to them is what?
Oh, no, surely everybody will be settled. Look, this is a government that settled arrears of coaches that were sacked in 2020, and they refused to pay them. The C.K. Akonos, the Chris Hutons, and all those persons. We paid them. So if we have paid all these persons that our government didn't sack, but we recognize the contract that we went into with them, how much more those who functioned under us that we will ignore? There's no way we ignore these athletes.
Okay. And that is Kofi Adams. I'll see you on Sunday.
Sure.
It's a celebration.
Yes.
Okay.
Come
And then
around.
After Sunday, I'll see you either in the US, in Mexico, and Canada.
And when you said you actually need only 2 visas to visit the 3 countries, when you have Canadian or American visa, you can go to Mexico. So I will advise those who want to travel to this thing to aim for these 2. So you can have...
but what it also means, they have to start applying early.
Yeah, you have to
because
start
you need 2
applying.
visas at least.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the Sports Minister. Grateful. And I'll see you on Sunday.
Thank you.
To celebrate the qualification. Enjoy the rest of your evening.